All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to and of course, the second I sit down, I am bombarded with Discord notifications and dog noises. So this isn't a normal stream. I have to say that up front. I put in the description. I have worked myself sick, and thus I'm going to try not to talk very much. And I'm not sure if we'll do a general live stream tomorrow, if it'll just be more of the same. Pardon my unkempt appearance, among other things. I'll be keeping just a very loose eye on the chat between asking questions and putting some things up to the viewers. I'm going to unpin this message and just say, currently 6, I'll be conserving my voice. Michael, let the dogs out again. Why can I not just copy paste the stuff from this? I could just copy paste this and unpin. Really sick. So we're gonna put that in. I'm gonna unpin this about. Okay, yes, message unpinned. Now let me pin this new one. All right. Can't even go to the pin thing without all the billion emojis things. Pin message. There we go. All right. So I'll just say hi to everybody really quick. Again, not going to be like a general live stream. I am simply going to be asking some questions. You guys get some Kyle ASMR, and I did this because I went to put in. I'll just give a quick update on where we're at with the website overhaul. Jojo again came and 2 weekends ago and took pictures of as much as we could. It was excellent. You can see the thumbnail is a composite of some of the shots that he got, and they're beautiful. And that's what's going up on Roach Crossing when the overhaul happens, is that, and then more pictures. So, hello, Allie Last, some eggs, pointing out the bolt on the thumbnail. Alex Baranowski loves me and needs a hug. I need a hug right now, too. Exotic Wilderness. And Braden, hello. So basically, I went to, I sat down today and I got all the categories that I want things to be sortable by. I might pop into the Discord and post some stuff like it's just sort of some things to test things out in terms of the formatting for stuff. Hello, Nate, Blast Cat. I'll probably put some things up in the Discord maybe for people to look over, rough drafts of what we're going through here. But basically, for just roaches so far, and again, this is going to be very comprehensive. Hello, Jojo Bugs. Get very comprehensive. These are the categories that we currently have for sorting. I'm going to do my best as I go through this list. Actually, I'm going to go let Victor out because he's barking Nazis outside. Got my Kleenexes here. I got all kinds of stuff to keep me alive, keep the corpse moving. So for anybody who's tuning in, these are the categories that are going to be basically all the information about any of the roaches that's going up on the website, minus flavor text. I'm open to other categories being recommended here. Kyle Allen says, Kyle, that's not the I told you to shave. These are not all the categories that I'm open to other ones. If anybody says, well, you don't have a category for the evolutionary age of the species that you're posting. I want to know if it's been around for 50,000 years or 100,000 years. Let me know that. Oh, I need to put continent on here too. So difficult with stuff we don't know the origins of. But I guess there's I answered the question. Just continent. I'm not going to do countries. The cockroach species file has all of that stuff. So I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna go ahead and slip that in here. Put in the document too. So at this point, guys, we're really at this is very reductive. How much stuff is on here in terms of sortable by. Let's see, continents: North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and then the meme one, Antarctica. So I'm going to go through that list real quick here. Exotic wilderness, I'm working on the enclosure photos is intended to be added. It will take time. Foremost is the sortable stats and whatnot. So let me. The main reason that I started this live stream was because where'd my flavor text thing go? Need to add that category here. Again, guys, I will not be that entertaining today. I'm just working, and as I run into things that I need to ask of the group, I will post them or say them. Satchel says, you plan to make a taxonomic family category. I don't see it on the doc. I don't think I'm actually going to do a taxonomic family category, primarily because that information with the Latin information, with the genus or species, you can find that information on the cockroach species file, and I will probably put a big link somewhere on the Roach Crossing page to the species file, because that's far more in depth than I am willing to go with this stuff, and I'm more obviously the husbandry side of things, and it keeps changing too. That's another thing. So I think it's better. I'll forward that site traffic to the species file, but all of this information is not on the species file. I'm actually wondering if I should put a wild habitat category here, or if I should, if that'll just be wrapped into the flavor text. Anybody have thoughts on a wild habitat? Actually, it wouldn't be the sortable category. Maybe it'll just be part of the flavor text. Part of the flavor text, I think. So, without further ado, here's the current list of things, all the empirical information about every single cockroach that needs to be digitized on the Roach Crossing page. And I will be making note of which categories will be for standard sorting. So there will be hopefully two options when you go to the roaches for sale. You will, maybe I should make a one. a thing that says available or not available. It's actually not the worst thing to do, now that I think about it. A sortable function, and it's very easy. It's just a yes or no if something's available. It's a good default sort option. I'm going to actually go ahead and I'm going to add that right now to the massive Word document. We'll do, instead of yes, no, availability, we'll do available, contact for availability, and not available. That covers a good spectrum of stuff. So the hope of doing this is that I'll be able to just, when I want to update the website, I will just be able to go into this mega spreadsheet and edit this information and then save it and then just jump to Roach Crossing and upload it, and it will be automatically filled in on every single page. It will greatly decrease the amount of work that I have to do and allow me to put more time into to wisely use my time better. Jonathan Grease says, Kyle, you seem tired. Yeah, I worked myself to death. I had an expo on Saturday and I really pushed too hard. Maybe and not. I keep saying without further ado, but then there is further ado. So I'll just go through the list as is and I'll stop thinking right now. So these are your basic sort options. These will just be de facto available to any random person coming to the site. And those are Latin name, which will be sortable alphabetically, so you can sort by genus, A, B, C, whatever. Alphabetical sort for locality. This one I don't know if I want to do this because unless somebody is like, wow, I wish I had a Roach from what's a Truth or Consequences. I don't know if I want to do this or if I just want to have a function that just sorts to all locality roaches. I'm not sure. But information needs to be on the species pages too. Alphabetical sort by strain or cultivar. So this would just bring up a whole list of all the different strains or cultivars of what have you. And alphabetical sort by common name. So this will just sort by current common names for things. Continuing on with the default sort, the standard sort, we will have by adult size, which is micro 1 to 10 millimeters, tiny 10 to 20 millimeters, small 25 to 40 millimeters, medium 40 to 50 millimeters, large 50 to 65 millimeters, and gigantic 65 plus millimeters. We'll have ability to climb smooth surfaces or climbs smooth surfaces, yes/no. Flying abilities, which will be sortable by adults cannot fly, only adult males can fly, and adults of both sexes can fly. Naturally day active, yes or no. Primary adult color, and this is actually something I'm going to need help with people today on. Primary adult color which will be sortable by white, black, gray, yellow, red, blue, green, brown, pink, orange, or purple. Whether it is a next one is hissing cockroach, whether or not it's in the cluster of species considered to be hissing cockroaches, yes or no. Uses, sortable by use, which the categories are thus far. Display, bioactive, research, bladder composting, pet, and feeder. Recommended for handling, yes or no. Care level, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert. Excuse me, guys. Roach crossing favorite, yes or no. And then finally, availability, which again, actually, I think that is important because that allows me to independently manage price and availability, which is huge. So that is important that I have that as its own separate category. So that's just the standard sort. Then next we have the advanced sort. So let's say you want to go more hardcore in, and you want to add more parameters that you can sort things by. We have time from birth to adulthood, sortable by 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months, 9 months to 12 months, and 12 months plus. We have adult lifespan, 1 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, 1 to 2 years, and 2 years plus. We have gestation / incubation length. I might change that to duration. I don't know. Anybody have any opinions on using length or duration for denoting time? Let me know in the chat here. Anyways, gestation / incubation length, less than or equal to 1 month, 1 to 2 months, 2 to 4 months, and 4+ months. Specific climbing abilities. So this is a breakdown of the previous category. So I did decide that, if a species can climb in any part of its life cycle, to put it in the climbing category, but this will be more specific because some people don't mind if like the adult males can climb or what have you, or if the adults can climb and the nymphs can't. All life stages cannot climb. Only adult males can climb. Only adults of both sexes can climb. Adults of both sexes and some nymphs can climb. And all life stages can climb. Next, we have mode of birth, which is oviparous, oviparous type 2, ovoviviparous, ovoviviparous type 2, and viviparous. Heating preferences. This is one that I've decided to make a big change from the old website, which gave temperature ranges. Now it's a little bit more practical for gauging heating preferences. So we have standard room temperature, which I don't think anybody who's keeping colonies of roaches probably will not be living in a room that is less than 60 degrees. So this is assuming sort of sometimes it's the low 60s in the winter, maybe it gets up into the 80s in the summer, just sort of, are they comfortable when you're comfortable? Next we have warm room or some heat. So this would be some people, actually a lot of people who get roaches are just kind of like, I have a reptile room. Can I just keep them in there? And it's like, yeah, you can do that. I'm changing the length to duration thing at the behest of Satchel. The cricket is from the stream. It's an adult male Gryllus velitus that matured a couple of weeks ago. It's okay. Gestation / incubation duration station. Okay, got that taken care of. Gestation period. Bob Harrison, thank you. That is actually, I think I do prefer that too. Sorry, Satchel. Period. That's used more frequently, I feel, in this line of work. I'm just going to change that really quick. It's a more traditional roach keeping terminology too. Anyway, so we were at the changes to the temperature. So I have heating preferences: warm room or some heat. Excuse me, guys. I gotta blow my nose. We have warm room or some heat. So this is kind of like people with a warm ambient reptile or bug room or something. And then finally, we have supplemental heat because some people want to do heat lamps. Some people want to do heat pads, etc. Jonathan says, doesn't know if it matters to people. I don't know if we need a. Some nymphs can climb, period, maybe just adult males, blah, blah, blah. I would say that, but I have gotten people asking me why they're like nymphs of like Pycnoscala ceratamensis or Bladder orientalis are crawling out of the container. So in my experience, it's a valuable thing to have up there, but that's also why it's going into the advanced settings. So again, there's the standard settings, which do have a very binary yes or no for if any life stage can climb smooth surfaces. But if you're okay with yes, then you can kind of go into the breakdown because some people will say they don't like keeping climbing species, but then they'll keep domino roaches because the nymphs don't climb. So anyways, heating preferences and finally supplemental heat. So you can heat pad, you want to do a light, you want to do a ceramic heat emitter, whatever. Just that supplemental heat is recommended. And then there's more on that in the advanced care guide. So, which I may put a link to on every single species page. Next up, we have humidity preferences, which is 3 parts. And I wanted to get everybody's opinion for one of the categories. We have airflow, high, medium, low, and then not picky. Air humidity, high, medium, low, not picky. Substrate humidity, completely dry, half moist, completely moist, and not picky. So I wanted to see how everybody felt about the not picky category because I thought, well, I could just always, for the ones that aren't picky, just set them to having all preferences. They could just be high, medium, and low. But I feel like that sort of takes some value away from having those categories in the first place if I don't go out of my way to separate which species. Oh, these really want high airflow. If you see 100 species with high airflow in their requirements, it's not going to be necessarily as helpful as if you go on there and you see, all these little like Blatella and Blatellinae and Loboptera, etc., really want high airflow. I'm not seeing any other species in here. So what's everybody's thoughts on the not picky category? Go ahead, type them in here, and I'll go on to the next category. Because the not picky thing is basically only pertinent to those humidity / airflow things. All right, we have minimum substrate depth, so I have 0 inches. Obviously, I recommend all roaches be kept on a substrate of some sort, but there will still always be people who want to put their Dubai roaches on egg cartons and blah, blah, blah. So I've put the option there for some people to still know that they could keep a species without substrate, probably not successfully anyways. So we have 0 inches, 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, and then 3+ inches. I'm debating if I should alter this to 1 to 3 inches. I have a ruler somewhere. Actually, I had to run out and get one of these. My metal ones are coming in the future, but maybe I'll do a 1 to 3 inches category only. Missed flight part, extremely flighty, would be a good one to have on the main labeling. Steven, I was thinking of a flightiness category. That being said, I do have a category for whether or not something is recommended for handling. But I do think there is some value in, I don't know if I want to call it flightiness, but willingness to take flight, because some people, flightiness just means running away. I would want to distinguish that there are some species that are inclined to fly away when their enclosure is opened. I think there is value to that. But also that could be flavor text. Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. If it's very valuable to look for sort roaches by whether or not they are flighty in that way. Jonathan Green says 1 to 3 inches is huge. It is a pretty big range, but the more that I think about it, most species that would want 1 inch of substrate would want 3 inches, would be fine with 3 inches. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. It sounds huge, but it's not that big of a difference between here and there in most enclosures. So some eggs, particle size. So some of that information, some eggs, we'll get to some of that. But anybody have strong feelings about the airflow, air humidity, substrate humidity having a not picky category? And anybody have strong feelings about reducing the minimum substrate depth from 5 different parameters to instead 0 inches, 1 to 3 inches, and then 3+ inches? Anybody have any thoughts on that? A says, will there be a category or flavor text for how good bad a candidate is for community setup? I don't think so, because a lot of those, it's like, well, you could keep X with Y, but not Y with Z. But you could keep Z with X if you wanted to. So there will, if that information is in there, it will probably be in the flavor text for stuff. Yeah, I would really like to know anybody's opinions on the substrate depth range. If anybody has strong opinions. If there's not any very strong opinions, I will subsume them. Anyways, so moving on from minimum substrate depth while still leaving the conversation up. Which, by the way, moving on, we have next is the naturally. Never mind, we already did that. Next category for advanced settings is burrowing behavior. I think I've got this pretty much where I want it. We have does not burrow, hides under loose cover, burrows into substrate, and finally makes permanent tunnels. I feel like these are a good way of categorizing a lot of roach behavior. I feel like it tells people a lot of what they want to know, and I could sit here and split hairs about, well, the adults climb, but the nymphs, the adults are up on stuff, but the nymphs aren't. But I feel like that's a bit semantic and it's not very helpful. I feel like these are 4 really good. These are 4 really good categories. So I feel pretty confident in going forward with just those. Still waiting for thoughts on the substrate depth, guys. Anyways, next. So we had primary adult color, and then additionally, I'm going to just check Discord for a second here, see if there's any important information. Nope, no important information. Okay. So we have primary adult color. Then we have primary nymph color, which is by the same category. So white, black, gray, yellow, red, blue, green, brown, pink, orange, purple. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a disclaimer, because there will be a using the website page as there is currently, that I don't think anybody reads, but it'll be there without a drop down, so maybe more people will read it. What I want these to be descriptive of is basically when you look at the roach, what is the color that your eye catches first? Because there's, roaches have a generally red, orange, brown, black color palette, and then there's more on top of that. But what I want this to be is when you look at the roach, what do you perceive first? So for let's see, what was I saying? I got distracted. It's editing some stuff. That's okay. I'm gonna rest my voice for just a sec, guys. Don't get too excited. Okay. Anyways, so the best example I can think of this is when you look at Panacea Angustipennis cognata, you look at the adult, you say, oh, it's black. It's very straightforward. When you look at the nymph, the first thing you probably comment on is that there's a gigantic orange splotch on its back. So that would be the category for the nymph, is that it's probably orange, would be its color categorization there, because it is the primary thing that your eye is drawn to when you see the nymph is the orange. So obviously there are some very decorated cockroaches, both adults and nymphs. And this is a bit reductive, but I'm not going to split hairs with this because I did want it to be a sorting function for things, and it can't be a billion different. Each category can have a million different things to sort by. That's not very. It doesn't tell people much. So, anyways, moving on. Florida legal? Yes or no? Just a category I've had for a while, and I'll just keep it that way. Cold resistance. So this is just a little bit of extra information, perhaps that people can use in conjunction with the heating preferences. But we have little to no cold tolerance. This would be stuff like your Hemiblabra, your Eublabrus. Tolerates some cold. This would be things like your hissing cockroaches, your perhaps Eurycotis like Floridana. And then finally we have freeze resistant, which is stuff like Paraplaneta japonica and Parcoblata species, certain species of Parcoblata, not all of them. So those are those categories there. Again, I felt like that's solid versus broken colors. So that's a bit reductive, Stephen, and I would like the pictures to speak for that part. So again, there will be, as is seen in the thumbnail, there will be plenty of beautiful pictures of both adults and nymphs to accompany each species, so people can kind of make that judgment for themselves. But just a basic sort for anybody coming to the site who says, wow, I wonder if there are any green cockroaches. All right, cold resistance. Next, this is something I felt was would be nice for sort of beginners. So, I mean, I guess it's helpful for a lot of people. Space required for a sustaining colony, and we have 1 gallon or less, 1 to 5 gallons, and more than 5 gallons. I feel like you can break a lot of roaches down into these space requirements. And it also it takes the words out of, well, use this quart Sterilite box, this shape, blah blah blah. It's more generalist volumetric orientation. Let me know if anybody has any thoughts on that. I'm open to negotiate. Anyways, next on the advanced sorting protocol, we have household infestation potential. I felt like this was important. Milthon gallons, I use the metric system. Sorry, I do want to use metric for the roach sizes because it's actually better for this field, even though it's the U.S. It is better to use those measurements because of the size of what we're working with. But I am still bound by imperial, and thus this is a gallon is more relatable for live animal keepers in the United States. Okay, moving on. So you have infestation potential. We have none. So that'd be like your most of your roaches. We have a low, which is more. That's like, if you live down south, you got like Paraplaneta australasiae or something like that. Maybe even Paraplaneta japonica would be in that group. I might even I gotta see what I think. I might even Paraplaneta americana might even be in the low area because it's kind of difficult to get like a noteworthy infestation of Paraplaneta americana to the point where you need to call an exterminator. It's not like they don't really ever get to Joe's Apartments levels of things unless you're absolutely disgusting. They're just not. Just more of an annoyance to anything. So those may be in the low section. Satchel notes about Surinams being able to breed in houseplants. I will probably put those into low as well. Again, an infestation is more like, you lift you lift a picture off the wall and there's like 100 that fall out, or you move the fridge and there's 100 of them back there. So anyways, medium would be where am I on my list? Medium would be like Botella germanica. I've lost plenty into this house and have not had any problems, and into my parents' house for that matter. And have not had problems. So a germanica would probably be in the medium category. Trying to think of anything else falls into that. Maybe Blatta orientalis. And then finally for high, I need to really think about what I'm going to put here, but Supella definitely goes in the high category in my personal experience at my parents'. Orang Mango says, you keep the color scheme the same. The color scheme will probably be the same or very similar. The layout should be different. The way that pages are organized and the way that you access things. I don't know if there's going to be, I'm not 100% sure. I need to see how things are going to be on mobile. Mr. Zed Monkey will have to weigh in there with stuff, but there are some scientific specimen suppliers that I would like to sort of greatest form of flattery, their sort of general layouts. So I can expect some changes to that for sure. Oh, Satchel found a waterlogged particle board and a bunch of Pycnoscelis under it. Mixed life stages, Satchel. Let's see. While we're talking about that, Next is diapause requirements. I'm not necessarily, I'm not going to really say if it's like cold or whatever. I think if somebody's looking at diapause requirements, they're going to be inclined to read the flavor text for the species where there will be more detail. But for diapause requirements, we have Uthiki, nymphs, and adults. So that's about as far as I'm willing to go here for this. So for it's not this does not really apply to a lot of species, but it's something I wanted to put on there at least so that I could put none for some stuff for a lot of stuff. We have the continent sort function, which we had already discussed. Which of the 7 continents does the species or strain originate from, etc. And with that, we are finished with the advanced sort options. Yeah, satchels they were probably eating the board. They do seem to like wood quite a bit. So, free Suriname colony. Anybody have any inputs on those? I'm still waiting for. I'm inching closer to the 1 to 3 inch category for the minimum substrate depth. If there are no strong oppositions to that, and if there are any other categories, Stephen had recommended willingness to fly. That's a good way to put it. It's not flightiness; it's willingness to fly. That will be a secondary sort feature. Low, medium, high. All right, that's good enough. I just got to slip that in. Willingness to fly will be an advanced sort category. And again, the goal is that you can sort. Hopefully, we can sort by. You can sort by multiple categories. So you could go down the list and say, well, I really want a tiny, non-climbing, non-flying, day active, pink, hissing, display, non-handling, expert cockroach, and your sort functions would all pull up everything. And hopefully we will be able to do that. That's the ultimate dream. Willingness to fly. Willingness to fly or willingness to take flight. It means the same thing, but might have different connotation. What does the pet designation entail? Asked Satchel. That's just the species you keep because they're fun guys. So perhaps they're not a display. They could be a display and a pet. But for example, a pet species may be more in the line of, some of the hissers would be pets and display. Maybe a pet species that's not necessarily display could be something like Bursatria, which are nice to handle, but aren't necessarily too striking or aren't really day active naturally enough to be used for display. So there'll be a little bit of hair splitting there. They are all fun. But you maybe you wouldn't be keeping American roaches for as pets per se. It will be a little bit of hair splitting. I will say that much. Anyways, I need to add the willingness to fly category. between handling recommendations. Oh, I should put a none. None is a category there for species that can't fly. Oh, now I got to do the thing that I. Oh, never mind. I did. Oops. Insert. Okay, willingness to fly, none. Orang mango, there we haven't gotten to that yet, actually. So everything we've done so far, everything I've discussed so far is stuff that you will be able to sort by. That doesn't mean it's all the information about every single species. So our last category in this very itemized list of things, itemized and atomized list of things here, is more information that you can't sort by, but that will show up on the species pages. So this is stuff where it's like there's very specific categories, and or including the flavor/sales text. So it's not something I necessarily want to be. You can't really sort by it. I'm not going to have a billion subcategories for some of these. You'll see why in a moment. So, anyways, so we have sortable by the Latin name, locality, strain or cultivar, common names. But then on each species page, there will be a category for previously used names. So how will they be sortable by price? I don't think so. Maybe that could be done numerically. I'll ask Chris about it. The difficulty is that there's different increments for different species and different prices for the increments. So anyways, so blue, this is all stuff that's on the species pages alone. We previously used names. So how first example that comes to mind is how Echinoptera species Costa Rica, then it was identified as Echinoptera rufa. So that will list as a previously used name, will list Echinoptera species Costa Rica. We were using Ergola pilosa for the big black beetle mimics. Apparently they're not actually pilosa. I need to ask TJ what the current preferred strain name is for those. So once I find that out, Ergola pilosa will go as a previously used name. For a while, there was the African bullet roaches, which are currently CF neostylopiga, propinqua, and or Afrostylopiga. So maybe African bullet roach, or just Bantua robusta will go on there as a synonym for that particular line. Let me see reproduction rate. Steven, that was in the advanced sort. You can sort by in increments of, yes, the rate's on there. So the gestation incubation period is on there. Anyway, so previously used names. Bunch of hissers are going to get a facelift in taxonomy too. So those will have their previous strain names all listed. The biggest offender currently that's not a roach is the Say's Harvestman or what have you, where it's gone through several genera and several species, and we thought they had it published to species, and now the publishers are like, oh wait, actually, never mind, we take that back. So there will be like 5 or 6 names for the those Eastern harvestmen, the Say's harvestmen, on the past names for that page. Again, not a Roach example, but I will have that listed because all these Cubaris species, rubber ducky and whatnot, will either eventually be described or identified, and then that information will be kept with them in that way. All right, moving on. So previously used names, we have adult male size, so we'll have the exact size of the adult male, and then adult female size, exact size of the adult female. This is additional information to the general sorting categories that I mentioned earlier. This way you have a better idea of how big they are going to get, because there is a difference in size between something like Blabrus colossius and Blabrus giganteus, and it's nice to quantify that. Next, we have hatchling / newborn size. This is for the infanticidal dart frog, etc. hobbies that like to know how big in picometers something is. I'm not going down to picometers, but this will list if they come out big and chunky, or if they come out really tiny, and somebody will find that information useful, so it's nice to have that on there. Next, we have preferred foods. So if recently I noticed that Paraplaneta brunea really like to eat dog food, preferentially to apples, so that will be on there, probably dog food listed as a preferred food. Pseudomops really like to eat apple. Stuff like that will be listed there. Panacea obviously eat wood, so wood will be put on there, etc. And then for some things, it will just say not picky, as it has before. But this, I don't want this to be sortable, because if I find out that something really likes, oh yeah, you gotta feed them, sun-dried tomatoes on Wednesdays, I don't want to have a whole category that says that. So this will just be information on the page. How many microns is this? I need to feed my protozoans. I have official news before I get into the end game here. I have condensed the minimum substrate depth from 0 inches to 1 to. I have condensed it to be 1 inch to 3 inches. So so saith I, and perhaps if I feel that's a gigantic mistake, I can fix it in the future. Okay, so next we have strain acquisition information. This, I guess I should maybe add a memo about who created the strains for some of these things. It's going to be more important for isopods than for roaches, I think, at this time. Strain history, perhaps, is another good category. So anyways, just strain acquisition information. This is for my records, and I guess for everybody else's. When I got the strain and from where it came from. So, for example, this will not be sortable. It will just be information on the website. The one that I filled out so far, I filled out Eublabrus distantis information. And so for the, I already said strain history, but now I got to change that because this is strain acquisition information now, not strain history. That's going to be something else. So for strain history for the Eublabrus distanta, I'm going to note here may have originated from Agama International. So in there it would be like, oh, originally isolated by blah, 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 refined by this other person. Bert Langdorf. I guess the full name is the Agama International Herpetological Institute. I'm going to put that there in my notes. This is for strain history. Anyways, so there we go. So there's that information. We will have both a strain acquisition information and strain history. So again, going back to the distanta as an example, I have that it was acquired from Matt K on roachforum.com circa 2010. So that will let everybody know approximately how long the strain has been in my possession and how long I've been working with it and how long it's been isolated, etc. This will also be where I will put that it was, if I went out and collected it, maybe I'll copy paste the strain history and the strain acquisition. So I don't know, but I think it is good to have both of those things on there. So, for example, when I go to write for the Cleveland Grauphotorrhina portentosa, for the strain history will be originated from the Cleveland Aquarium in the 1980s, and then for strain acquisition information will be acquired from Oren McMonigal circa, I think it was like 2014 or something that I got that strain from him. So more information, all of it on the website, etc. Next we have the flavor/sales text, which is of course my little writings on things. Let's switch these around here. So that'll be the little blurbs all updated with more information, wild habitat, any quirky notes, behaviors, etc. that I would like to add to the species profiles. And with that, excuse me, that's everything short of pricing and availability. So that's all the work that I have cut out for me in the next weeks, months. All that information needs to be recorded or come out of here and digitized, and then it'll be up there. Hopefully we can get a good system in place. And now, dear listeners, as I go to get another drink of ginger ale, which is a Michigan cure for everything. Cancer, drink ginger ale. COVID, drink ginger ale. Your wife left you, drink ginger ale. Cures everything, according to the Michigander. I need to know. This is the whole reason I started this live stream, is so that I could ask something like this. There will be further questions in the future. I got stumped with my own processes here because I could not figure out what color Eublaberus distanti adults are. Now, if you recall, we have a specific set of choices for what colors things can be considered. I will post them in the chat right now. Yes, Werner's. Werner's is too corn syrupy for me, though. But why can't I post this? It won't let me copy paste this. Paste that for me. There we go. Dear live stream viewers, I need you to look at my website pictures, other website pictures, etc., of Eublaberus distanti, the ivory head cockroach or the ivory roach. I need you to pick one of those colors that describes the whole color of the adult of that species. It must be one color. No mixes, no intermediate colors. You have to pick. You've got a gun to your head. You have to pick one of those. I would like as many responses as possible on this. It doesn't matter if they're contrary or if you feel they're not half right. I need your responses right now, and I'm going to go get some more Vernors. Sorry, not Vernors. It's just ginger ale. Okay. A lot of people saying brown. And I was 50-50 between brown and yellow. Because when I think of a brown roach, I think of something like Asia blatta chiotensis. I think of it's another one, Cryptocarchus rightii. I think of Parcoblatta pennsylvanica. So that's usually what I think of when I think of brown. And they're kind of more yellowy, I feel. But again, if I had to, you want them to be white, but alas, they're brown. Let's see this while driving. I thought the horny crickets in the background were my car. That's funny. Because you see, if I didn't limit myself in this way, I would say tan, because that's like brown and yellow mixed together. So, brown and yellow, I'm going to mark down as what people are. It's not a banana roach either. I see no yellow in them. Tan. Yeah, tan is the best way to describe it. And tan is brown. So, but at the same time, if you put them next to Asia blatta or something that's very distinctly brown, they don't look the same. Which is why I hate this. Alan says, I feel like color is a useless category. In a way it is, but it also makes things approachable to new keepers. And that's kind of what I'm going for with just this. There's so much information, and there will be pictures of everything. And there's I like Prairie Moon has this setting too for picking plants. Actually, I wonder if they have a category for tan. Let's look. Let's look and see. Where you can sort by. You can sort by bloom color, and looks like they use all the same categories. They have white. They don't have brown because not a lot of things have brown. I don't think anything really has. I don't think you want to call anything brown flowered, I guess. But they have white, yellow, purple, pink, blue, green, cream, red, and orange. So it's basically just missing black and brown in their color sorter thingy. Tan's not the worst thing to go with. Tan is not the worst additional category to add. Tan could be a useful category just because so many roaches are brown. Tan would include most of your blabbers. Tan also includes blabbers, so I guess there is value in adding a tan category. I see value in that, I guess. See, this is exactly why I wanted to talk to people, is to come to these same conclusions, is to come to these sort of conclusions and determinations. Also, Alan, I have a sort by nymph color function working or in the works too. So, but it's not meant. This is not to be all end all. This is meant to be when you look at the roach. What's the color your brain sees first? It's supposed to be very knee jerk, brain no thinky, monkey brain feeling. You look at Panchlora nivea and you see green. You look at Gyna cappuccina or Gyna CF sculpturata and you see pink. That's what it's really supposed to be. And there will be all the pictures with things too. So it's not like people have to guess, like, what, oh, is it really that color? Is it really green or whatever? There's all the pictures that can be used too. And that's going to be also front and center on the website for things. Again, Alan, I have thought of the annoyance of the categories, and basically there's a standard sort option that has the practical information of, like, what's the adult size? Can it climb? Can it fly? Is it day active? Do I use it for a feeder, for display, for research? What's the care level? Those are all going to be part of the sort function, but that's the initial BAM. Those are the primary ones that any person coming to the site will have at their fingertips immediately. And then for all of us crazy people out there, there's all the advanced options that you will hopefully be able to just pull up and then also sort by. So I did think, the average person is not going to want to know if the species has cold resistance. They're not going to want to know if the species they already know can or can't climb, if it's just the adults or just the nymphs. So there's already some binary sort options. But then, because this is the Roach husbandry database at this point, all that other information is available there too for people who are really splitting hairs, and I want that available. And this isn't just for sorting. This is because if I edit this information here and we get things set up right, it will it will actually allow me to sell bugs now, because I can just edit the Excel file when I need to add more information. It will just automatically update to the website instead of me having to go through each page individually, etc. I don't know if the glow spot roaches, if I'll call yellow. That's a good argument, though, with this approach. And, I mean, they are named glow spot roaches. So, but it's going to be, again, there's going to be a good degree of subjectiveness here. And clearly there's pictures for people to look at so that you can make the decision yourself. But I just wanted to have something extra there to make some of this stuff more approachable, because somebody might think, "Oh, I didn't know there were green cockroaches. Let me buy some of those." Uh, if domino roaches. Oh, there's a white cockroach. Oh, it's a domino roach. That's kind of cool. Again, when there's pictures, the categories, that stuff kind of loses its value. But at the same time, I would like to give people that option to be able to sort and find things like this. And the other thing is, this is going to be the same problem with isopods. Same problem with isopods, and I'm willing to accept that. For example, the tricolors. What's the primary color going to be there? Should they ever go up? So, anyways, so those are the categories, and again, this information will not just be sortable through. This information will be on the pages themselves. So that's the other reason. If Chris and I can get this worked out right, you can sort by them. But also, if you're just browsing the species pages and you want to know something, that information will just be right there and auto updated. I wonder where that came from. That's the other value to having this is, well, if I'm doing all the work to put all this information on there, it might as well be sortable, is what I figure. So, does anybody have any? I would like to open up the forum once more. Does anybody have anything they'd like to see? Anything they would like to talk about further? Anything they'd like to recommend? Again, we've a couple of things that were recommended. I have used to modify the lists and stuff. I'll probably do another one of these tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to do a general live stream, but I will stream tomorrow. There's just too much to be done. So, yeah. Anybody, any more thoughts on stuff? I'm also. I wonder what this is going to look like. Avert your eyes, maybe. Oh, that's not so bad. I'm multitasking. I actually need to check on some bugs that came in the mail today. Was waiting for them to warm up before I went through and counted them, but let's see, get the Cubaris species firefly, or this is actually, I need to do roaches, but I'm itching to get to isopods because I cannot wait to just dunk on all of this chaos that is going on in the isopod. Maybe amber firefly. You can see one in there. It doesn't feel like it's like this is a mature individual. If this ever focuses. They're pretty neat. I like it. They do got a bit of a pop to their overall color. Actually, I have to go set these guys up too. So need to get an accurate count and then set them up. So I may actually need to go do that in the bug room. But anyways, does anybody have any strong feelings or suggestions about the stuff that I've gone over so far? It seems like the substrate depth was one topic that needed to be discussed more, and we do seem to have come to a forced through conclusion there. Color has been a discussion. Roach color has been a discussion. Any other thoughts? What I will probably do then is, again, tomorrow I'll do similar to today. I'll just do more data inputting. Somebody was asking if we were returning to weekly content. In a way, yes, we have. I said we were for sure before, but I'm going to, again, probably use tomorrow's to work. What about aggression/hunger level? Uh, I don't really factor that in because a lot of roaches are not really aggressive or voracious like that if they're well fed. Um, I'm not. I don't think I don't necessarily see a need to put that categorically, but if there's something like that, it would go in the flavor text. And yeah, there's probably going to be maybe low end 200, high end 400 isopods that need to be added or modified. And that's not going to be very fun. And of those, we maybe only took a picture. We took pictures of maybe like 10 or 20 species and strains. Yes, high end 400, low end 200. So that's going to be a whole other ordeal. And since we didn't really get to them, that's going to be one of the things Jojo and I need to do in the next visit for the photography. So there's going to be a lot of isopods going up that won't, most of them will not have any pictures at all until we get the macro photos of stuff taken the next time. So surprisingly, you get a live 400. It's not that difficult. It's maybe like 6 to 12 hours of work every 2 to 4 months, depending on how miserable I'm feeling at the time. So it's not that much work to keep that many going if you do it right. But if I was doing it the way that a lot of isopod keepers are, there's no way I could keep up on everything this way. Degree of Kyle's favoritism that the species possesses. If I could have that, I mean, I'm getting up close to 300 in roach species. Another 2 supposed to be coming in this week. Both of which I had one of them before and I failed. The other one I've never had before. So we're getting close to the big 300 for roach species and strains. For isopod, I mean, when there's like 5 different color forms of Pak Chong or Panda King and 15 different scaber lines and stuff, those numbers add up pretty quick. But I do have a lot of just single species of stuff that I just never put up on the website. It just takes too much time. And now I'm taking the time to do it. So anybody else, any questions or comments or concerns before I close out today's stuff? I will still be posting in the Discord today, probably asking some questions to there. Maybe not necessarily expecting immediate answers, but I really just need to. I feel like that was actually a big thing to figure out that, we need a tan category for colors. How many species of everything would you estimate that you have? I think if we talked species, it's maybe like 400 or 500, somewhere between 300 and 500 species. Separate strains of things, unique mutations or breeding projects, etc. It's probably like 600, 700-ish. So will all these same categories be applied to the non-roaches? No. Roaches and non-roaches and isopods will have different sets of parameters, not as involved. So isopods will still have things like maximum length or adult size, temperature, humidity, etc. But there probably will not be direct notes on, this is a fast breeding species. It takes 1 to 2 weeks to 4 weeks for a monkey to leave the marsupium or whatever. That will not be there in the sortable categories. That will be much more. That will probably even just have a standard sort by parameter set and no advanced sort by. And that's probably true of everything else other than roaches. So I will still be streaming on Thursday, aka tomorrow. It will be more like this. I'm not going to have time to do a general updates live stream I'm going to be. I saw a vent on one of the containers turned around. It will be more work time. I'll probably come at this with more questions for people and more keeping my head down and inputting stuff into the master Roach list. I'm going to do the Roach list first and then go back and make a separate one for isopods and all that other stuff. Yeah, if I did more information for the isopods, I would never get this done, and everything in my life would suffer for it. But some of that information, a lot of them are very similar, and it can be put into flavor text. This is a fast breeding species, blah, blah, blah. I don't have that much boots on the ground brain space devoted to stuff like isopod reproduction. So if I can convey to people that Porcellanites prunosus is fast breeding and Hilaria brevicornis is slow breeding, that's maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I would just have a category: fast, medium, and slow for different breeding speeds, and that'll be that. So I do like having more information, but again, for something like that, it needs to be digestible. Especially for the isopods, it really needs to be digestible. I am not looking to be the be-all, end-all source of all infinite isopod knowledge, as I'm kind of gearing up to be with roaches in terms of husbandry, at least not yet. So I need to put my time and energy into the roaches. So, all right, everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm glad we answered this the question: what color are eublabrus distanti adults? They're tan, as are many other adult blabrus, eublabrus group things. So I will see you all tomorrow as I continue to work away.